All right, today on episode 42, we have Super Bowl 60 talks, Winter Olympics. We talk about the World Baseball Classic, NASCAR, the NFL Combine, and the NFL Draft. All right, welcome to episode 42. I'm one of your hosts, Miles Schild. Sitting right next to me is my co-host.
I'm Andrew Volkman, everyone. How we doing?
All right, I hope we're all doing good. Sorry, it's been about a month since we posted.
Yeah,
I know I've had some health issues and some personal things going on. I know Andrew's been busy, so we have to get through all this. So forgive us. We're going to be going back in time a little bit, talking about Super Bowl 60.
yep.
So Andrew created the idea instead of the Now segment, which was our news of the week, we have the Num Num Num
And
segment,
now,
which is
second.
the
Yeah.
news of the month. So let's get us started here, Andrew. Super Bowl 60.
All
What
right.
did you think about it?
Well, this was definitely, for the majority of this game, it was a defensive game. I mean, it wasn't until later in the game when we actually got some offense. I mean, it was mostly Jason Myers field goal. Good. Jason Myers field goal. It's good. That's pretty much what this game was for Super Bowl 61. Or yeah, it was Super Bowl 61, right? Or is it 60?
60.
60.
60.
Sorry. There's so many. I can't possibly remember which one we're on. But yeah,
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, which I would be shocked if you don't know, Seahawks beat the Patriots 29-13. The Seahawks had the Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker III, who had over 100 yards
yeah,
rushing, but it was an ugly game, especially in the beginning. It was rough. Like Andrew said, the kicker. I mean, he could have easily gotten the Super Bowl
yeah,
MVP for how much he was working.
yeah,
Definitely a disappointing Super Bowl. We're used to, sometimes the exciting Chiefs always in there. So I think not having the Chiefs was a big one. But I thought that this game was interesting because I was okay with either team winning,
yeah,
right? I
definitely.
liked both stories. I like Sam Darnold, you know, he going from the Jets where he was put in an awful situation, then going to Kyle Shanahan and the Niners as a backup, kind of getting better, going to the Vikings, getting a really good year under his belt,
Yeah,
and then going and getting a bigger contract with the Seahawks. I think that's a great way to find your quarterback. And the Seahawks getting the job done. And we were talking about this, right? Marshawn Lynch. He was the other big Seahawks running back when they were in the Super Bowl. And Kenneth Walker definitely showed up, and he had big shoes to fill, and he definitely filled them. Um, and we'll see what happens with him in free agency. But Andrew, I do want to hear what you think about the Bad Bunny halftime show.
well, I mean, it was definitely something different. I will just be honest with that. I didn't really know what to expect from Bad Bunny. I don't listen to his music a whole lot. It's not my primary um, music genre, but I'm not gonna say it was bad because it definitely wasn't. It was definitely a solid halftime show. It definitely was a Bad Bunny halftime show, in my opinion. It was, really resonated with probably the Latin American fans, and that's really what the NFL is trying to do. It was their purpose to, you know, and try to bring in the Latin American people and to support the NFL. So I'm not gonna say it was bad, but I mean, I don't have anything negative to say about it. So
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. I thought that it was a good performance, like theatrical performance
yeah,
looking at
definitely.
it. I mean, the set was incredible, right?
Yeah,
You had
yeah.
all the bushes that were like people. That was really awesome. The wedding that they had there was really cool.
Oh yeah.
So I thought the like visual, right? Yes, a lot of us could not understand it, but the visual representation of all of it was really cool. For example, like there was a time when he was dancing on like the electric posts or whatever, the
Yeah.
power lines,
Mm-hmm.
and he was singing about like power outages in Puerto Rico, and I thought that was really cool, and I thought it was a good way to represent where the NFL is going right now and expanding across the world. What a better way to do that than have the most streamed artist ever
Yeah.
as your halftime show.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Definitely.
thought it was pretty good. Kenneth Walker was pretty good. The kickers were pretty good. Um, So Super Bowl 60. What would you give this Super Bowl? Um, the game. What would you give the game grade wise?
Definitely like on a 1 to 10 scale, like that's probably what I go most of the time. I would say it's like a 7. It was a good defensive game, and I'm always one for, a good defensive football game. I was a little bit disappointed that we did get to see some offense later. I wish we kind of had that more throughout the entire game. And it was maybe a little bit closer, but like still overall, it was for the most part a very close game. It just wasn't a wire to wire, close game. So 7 feels fair in my opinion, at least.
Yeah. I'll go with the letter grades. I'm gonna give it a C plus.
C plus, okay. Similar to
Just
where I have it, yeah.
yeah, just because like I'm you're more defensive, I'm more offense. Like I want to see the ball getting spun through the air, right? I like the last minute plays. I like the tight games. So it didn't really get that. Stephon Diggs was super disappointing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Stephon
Um,
Diggs did not do much.
Jackson Smith Najigba going down was a little bit sad to see.
Yeah, he did
That's
come back.
a
He did come back though.
He did, but that's more good football we didn't get. I like to see Cooper Cup back in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl. But solid Super Bowl. All right, moving on. Winter Olympics.
in Milan, Italy.
Yes.
Big event. Big event
Mm-hmm.
once again.
Yeah, yeah. It was super interesting. The hockey teams were really good.
Especially for the United States,
The
100%.
the one the one girl. I can't remember who's got like the crazy hair. Figure
Oh, I don't
skater.
know either.
She was really good.
You don't remember what team she was on?
She was on U.S.
Oh, she was okay.
Yeah, and she won gold. Um, Lindsey Vonn, sorry for her and her tragic fall. That was pretty brutal to watch. It was, she. I'm hoping her a good recovery, a safe recovery.
Yeah, I just want to say this. I don't know why she was even out there to begin with, because I mean, I think she's like in her she's like into her early 40s. I'm pretty sure.
And she was doing it on a torn ACL.
Yeah, like she already was injured, so and she's really old in a very, I would say, labor intensive sport. Like downhill skiing's no slouch. So I'm kind of confused why she was even out there to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, definitely it was a very interesting game to say the least.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, props to her for going out there on a torn ACL to ski. I mean, that can't be easy. Stinks that it ended this way. That would have been a great like comeback story if she would have won gold on a torn ACL. Um, but we'll see. All right, let's get the USA Winter Olympic recap. USA won 12 gold, 12 silver, and 9 bronze. That's incredible.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
That is a ton of medals, man. Um, but
However, they
yeah,
were not the top. Let's just make sure that's out there. They were not the gold winner, medal winner like overall. Norway took the crown in that regard. They had 18 gold medals, 12
yeah.
silver medals, and 11 bronze medals. So,
Well, that makes sense. The Norway, that's cold, right? Them
yeah,
kids are skiing in kindergarten, so um,
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, props to USA. Looking at that, Andrew wanted to talk about USA hockey. What do you got with that, Andrew?
I mean, first off, like touching on the men's real quick, we already touched on the women's hockey a little bit. Going in against Canada, no easy competition. That is truly like the best like hockey nation in the world, Canada. So it's a tough matchup for the U.S. hockey team, but led by guys like Jack Hughes and then Connor Hellebuyck as the goalie, who came up clutch. I want to say that Connor
Mm-hmm.
Hellebuyck as the goalie had a near 1,000 save percentage. He had like .956, which is incredible. He had 41 saves in that final match. Unbelievable stuff from him. But then you have Jack Hughes, who's going to steal the show because he's one that freaking goes out there, loses a tooth late in the going,
Yeah.
picks up his tooth, tosses it off the court, and says, "Hold on to that for me." Runs
Oh,
back out there and scores the game-winning goal.
oh
So I
my
mean,
God.
real grit and determination from Jack Hughes to give USA the victory. And then of course he's dating Tate McRae from Canada, Canada's own Tate McRae. So I mean, Canadians are just losing at everything right now.
Oh
They
man.
lose both the women's and the men's hockey to the United States of America. They're supposed to be the little brother of hockey, and then friggin' Jack Hughes, the game winner, the hero for Team USA, is Dane Tay McRae. So Canada, I mean, y'all
Yeah.
just losing at everything right now. Like, and then the Blue Jays lost the World Series too.
Oh my
Let's not
gosh.
forget that too. So it's real.
Canada's struggling right now.
Yeah, Canada. They're really losing at everything right now. So, yeah, but sticking with Jack Hughes and like making not to take away anything from Jack Hughes and that entire group on the ice. This was honestly like Miracle on Ice 2, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah.
It really is Miracle on Ice 2 for Team
Yeah.
USA. So, congratulations to all of those on the Team USA hockey men's team
Yeah.
in Milan. What an incredible showing they did representing our country. President Trump also brought them out at his State of the Union address, which is pretty cool to see. They all had their gold medals and everything. So, yeah, that was major impact that group had on the entire country.
Yeah.
And then we got over to the WBC real quick. Right now we're in the group stage of the WBC. I believe every single team is going to play 5 games to shake out the standings. There's 4 pools: Pool A, Pool B, Pool C, Pool D. I believe Pool C is over in Tokyo in the Tokyo Dome. Pool B and A, I believe, are over here in the United States in Miami and Houston. And then Pool D, I believe, is in Mexico right now. So all those teams are currently playing in round robin style play. The top 2 teams from each pool advance on over to the main bracket, and those teams will be fighting it out for the World Baseball Classic Championship in 2026. And Team USA is entering in as the favorites. They have an absolutely loaded roster. Japan is also in there. They got Shohei Ohtani, Seiya Suzuki, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. There's a lot of big teams right now, and some underdog teams as well, like Brazil made it into the WBC this year. Israel's in there, Nicaragua, Great Britain is in there once again. So the WBC is really, really fun for baseball. Glad a good way to kick off the baseball season. Miles, what do you have to say about it though?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what WBC is, it is the World Baseball Classic. So
Yeah.
it is pretty much the Olympics for baseball. And so the best players from around the world go and they play some amazing baseball. And we have amazing games, right? For USA, for example, we have our very own Milwaukee Brewer, Bryce Terang on the
Yes,
team.
sir. Let's
The
go.
last 2 games ago, he had 4 RBIs and played an amazing game with Team USA. This is probably one of the greatest Team USA teams assembled for the World Baseball Classic.
Friggin' the Avengers out there right now. You got Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens out there on the pitching, and then you got Aaron Judge as the captain, and then of course Bryce Terang on the infield. Bryce Harper's there, Will Smith, Cal Raleigh, the switch hitting 50 home run catcher. Bobby
Yeah.
Witt Jr. is in there, probably the best shortstop in the game. So I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, yeah, you do kind of have. You got like Kyle Schwarber as like the Hulk, and then you got
Kyle Schwarber's the
Paul
whole.
Skeens as Hawkeye with his like elite throwing ability and whatever, and then you got I don't know Aaron Judge as Captain America, and you have a lot of cool little things going on there with Team USA. But definitely watch out for the Dominican man. Dominican and Japan have been just baseball factories, and they've just been pumping out superstars. Dominican has Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Guerrero, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
I just can't. The only name in baseball I can pronounce is Will Smith, the catcher for Team USA. And then you got Juan Soto, and then for Japan you got Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani. So you got some really good players in the World Baseball Classic. You have a MLB player on almost every team. Um, so we'll see. Andrew, who's your World Baseball Classic winner?
Oh man, putting me on the spot there a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the easy pick is gotta be Team USA. They're the best team on paper, and I mean, it's for good reason. They have so many good players on that roster, and then I'm not gonna rule out Venezuela either. They got some good players over there too. Jackson Churrio's on that team. They also have some other good players over there. I believe, no, Manny Machado's on Dominican Republic. Venezuela's got a good team as well, so
Oh,
let's not rule out Venezuela. Oh, he's pulling Miles just pulled down his Willie Adames Dominican Republic card. I don't think Willie Adonis isn't playing this year. I don't think.
He isn't.
No, I don't think
Oh,
he is. That's kind of a
eh.
bummer. Willie is still working out with the Giants in San Francisco or in Arizona right now. So, yeah, I think if I had to predict, I hate to be boring, but it's got to be Team USA for me. They're so good, so loaded, so well rounded. I just don't think any other team can compete with that. Maybe Japan, but I still
Yeah.
think it's Team USA. The roster they have is just so good.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. I mean, look at what happened when they were playing against Great Britain, right? It was
Oh yeah,
1-0. Great Britain was up in the fifth inning, and then the game ended, what, 1-9?
I think that
Like,
was right. Yeah.
it was 1-9. Are you kidding me? Like, this team is not going to be stopped. So, we'll see who wins the World Baseball Classic. Moving on, NASCAR. Andrew, what do you got with?
All right, so this season has been starting off really crazy in the Cup Series. I mean, let's just get this out of the way. Tyler Reddick, the Daytona 500 winner, he has won 3 straight races to open up the season. The first time since 2006 with Wisconsin's own Matt Kenseth, by the way. Shout out Matt Kenseth. And before that, it was Jeff Gordon in 1996. So it's been a little while since we've had 3 straight wins to open up a season in NASCAR. Currently, Tyler Reddick's actually going for 4 straight to open up a season at Phoenix right now while we're recording this episode. So if you want to hear more about that race, go check out my NASCAR show. Link will be in the description below. But yeah, what Tyler Reddick is doing is unprecedented. Reddick, didn't win a single race last season. None. Didn't win a single race. And B, this year has come out to win 3 straight in the to open up a season. Never been done in NASCAR Cup Series history, which is unbelievable. And behind the scenes, Reddick has had to deal with family issues, the health of his young son, and his team owner, Michael Jordan. They were involved in a lawsuit that literally sued NASCAR itself. And for Tyler Reddick to not only remain with the team, but to come back the next season and win 3 straight races, it's really impressive what Tyler Reddick has been doing so far this season. So, yeah, if you want to hear more, go check out my NASCAR show. Link in the description below. All right, so that's enough of the nom 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 segment, news of the month, of all the news we've missed from the past, month, while we were away. So, anyways, let's move on over to the NFL Draft Combine. Something else that happened over this past month. It was like 1 week, I'm pretty sure, or 4 days at least. So we got to see all the game's newest and brightest young stars from college attending the NFL Draft Combine in Indianapolis, Indiana, at Lucas Oil Stadium to show what they got. So me and Miles have some names that we are really impressed with overall. From the NFL Draft Combine, I got some defensive backs. I got some wide receivers. I have a running back in there too, and I'm pretty sure Miles has some quarterbacks and running backs as well over there as well. Some other offensive players. So, anyways, Miles, why don't you kick us off with some of your big standout players from the NFL Draft Combine?
All right. Well, flashback to last year when we did this. Me and Andrew watched so much combine together last year. We had our man Hunter Wooler
Shout out
in
Hunter.
there. Um, I'll pull up some of my old things. I need to build myself some credibility, right? Some of you guys may be saying, "Oh, who is this guy telling us who's good and who's not?" Well, let me help you out with this here. Um,
Just 1 second, guys. Miles is pulling it up on his phone right now.
I am pulling it up.
Me?
Here we go. All
Okay,
right.
he's got it. Okay.
NFL Combine. Some guys who I thought were going to be good. James Pierce Jr. was the check. He was great this year.
He
He
was
was
solid.
up there
He was
for
good.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. Nick Emanwari was one of my standouts.
Yes. Nick Imanwari. Yeah, we saw him in.
Malachi Starks was one of my standouts.
Yeah.
I had Jackson Dart and Cam Scattaboo as two standouts.
Huh.
I have
Wow.
I have some credibility here, so bear with me, guys, as I tell you what I thought of this NFL Combine. First of all, we had Taylon Green, Arkansas's quarterback, coming in with one of the most athletic combine performances we've ever seen. All right, he broke the vertical record. Dude was jumping, man. He was insane.
Yeah.
He broke the broad jump record, and he was up there this year. He was the fastest quarterback with the 40 yard. Um, He wasn't the fastest ever, but he was up there.
He was up there.
Taylon Green, super athletic. Teams were asking him to run wide receiver drills. He said no. If any of you remember, this is exactly what happened to Lamar Jackson, multi MVP. All right, Lamar Jackson during his combine was asked by multiple teams to move over to wide receiver. In fact, I just saw today a video of, I believe it was Skip Bayless, pretty much saying Lamar Jackson should switch over to wide receiver. Taylon Green said no when he was asked. Lamar Jackson obviously said no, became one of the top quarterbacks in this league. We'll see if Taylon Green could do that. Some of my other standouts, the Styles brothers, man. Sonny and Lorenzo Styles. Lorenzo's a corner, and Sonny is a linebacker. I would love the Packers to take Lorenzo Styles at some point. I would love for them to take Sonny Styles as well.
Probably not gonna happen though, because
I mean, it could
I mean,
because
it could. I guess that's true.
I'm gonna veer off course for a second here. We have a chance to get compensation picks for all the free agents we lose. Malik Willis, if he gets a big contract, we could be getting a third round pick for him. Quay Walker, if he gets a big contract somewhere else, we could be getting a third round pick. We could end with multiple third round picks, possibly 3 or 4 thirds, and then we have a second. That could get us back into the first, and we could take a guy like Sonny Styles to replace Quay Walker. We did just make a trade for Zaire Franklin from the Colts. That's great for our man Hunter Wooler because he could play safety and linebacker.
Yeah,
And now they don't have EJ Speed or Zaire Franklin. That there is a open position for Hunter Wooler.
let's go.
But gearing back on course, another guy I had was Carson Beck. And let me tell you something. I because of my health issue, I was on the couch and I was not able to do anything for multiple days. I was watching hours upon hours of the combine, and I watched Carson Beck's combine performance. He did not run the 40. He didn't do any of the athleticism tests, but he threw. Let me tell you right now, they did the combine in Lucas Oil Stadium, and Carson Beck had to throw in Indianapolis, Indiana. Now, for those of you who remember, Miami lost to Indiana in the college football championships when Carson Beck went up to throw, and I mean every single time he went up to throw, he was booed, and it was loud, audible boos. You could hear it. And I want to say this. He was still able to go out there and ball. He smiled, he shook it off, he was able to do that. That showed something really big for me from Carson Beck. I know a lot of people in his Georgia days were saying his immaturity could be a problem. Being able to perform well already in a high pressure situation where all these NFL teams are around and all these GMs and scouts and coaches are watching just you, that's high pressure. But to have every fan in the crowd against you and booing you, that's big. That makes me think, okay, if has to go somewhere like Cleveland, right, or New York, he could be in tough situations, right, with the Jets or the Browns or some other team, and he very well could get booed. I think that teams don't need to worry about his mental game and him buckling under pressure. I was very impressed with him. His strong arm shined in this game. Andrew, anything to say on Carson Beck?
Yeah, not really much else besides what you said, other than, him getting booed at Indianapolis, which was kind of funny to see because, he was playing Indiana in the national championship games. But yeah, didn't look riled at all. Showed a good amount of stuff in the combine, so I was pretty impressed by what Carson Beck did. Over on my side, I mostly focused on DBs and wide receivers, mostly on the defensive backs. I'm not gonna lie, because I mean, I don't have nearly as much volume as Miles does. I'm not as analytical in the NFL as he is, but from what I saw in the DB class, at least for this one, it's absolutely loaded. At least for the first like 2 rounds, it is absolutely loaded. Tons of corners, tons of safeties. It's absolutely unbelievable what is in this class this year. First, Colton Hood out of Tennessee. He's a big guy, a little bit of good size. He's quick, and he's able to get up really, really quickly. He was someone that was flying up draft boards after the NFL Draft Combine. D'Angelo Pons from Indiana was also flying up the boards as well. He showed out really well at the Combine. Chris Johnson out of San Diego State. He's a big but quick corner. He's big. He's quick for his size. I will emphasize that. He's over 6 feet tall. He's over 180 pounds. He's a very good corner. And then as well, we also have, excuse me, over to the wide receivers. Jeff Caldwell out of Cincinnati. He's another big wide receiver. He's 6'5". 6'5". That is insane for a wide receiver. He's 216 pounds, and yet he ran a 4.31 40-yard dash. That's a very good time for someone his size. It's very, very impressive. I honestly could see the Carolina Panthers choosing to, go out and draft Jeff Caldwell, another big wide receiver for Bryce Young. And then on the other side of things, Makai Lemon, top wide receiver prospect this year out of USC. His draft stock really, really dropped after the combine. Did not do very well at the draft combine. It was not very good for Makai Lemon. So we'll see how far he falls down the order. But yeah, it was not impressive what he showed at the combine. And then on the running back side of things, Mike Washington Jr., this was the guy that really caught my eye. He's a big prospect, 6 foot, 223 pounds, and he's fast. That is incredible. I mean, I'm so excited to see. Like Arkansas, we just mentioned Taylon Green, quarterback. He's a physical specimen, 6'6". He's kind of like an Anthony Richardson type prospect. And now you have Mike Washington, excuse me, a running back who's also big. He's 6 foot and he's 223 and he's fast. Like Arkansas is putting out some physical freaks this year in the draft. So
Yeah.
there you go. That's my big names, some of my big notices from this year's NFL Draft Combine.
Yeah, you talked about Arkansas and how shocking it was that they were, pumping out some really athletic guys. Well, that makes me think of another group. I call them the underachievers, all right? So the underachievers were guys last year who we were thinking are going to be top 10 picks. Because let's be honest, last year we were thinking, oh, next year's quarterback class is going to be so crazy, right? And that's what we're thinking about the next year's right now.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a problem with, teams saying like let's just wait till next year cuz you never know. All right? And my underachievers, Drew Aller, Penn State's quarterback, Cade Klubnik, Clemson's quarterback, and Garrett Nussmeier, LSU's quarterbacks. So we have three quarterbacks here who everyone thought were going to do amazing, right? Cade Klubnik was coming off of like a 36 touchdown year and just could not repeat that. Drew Aller, he played pretty poor and then got hurt and was out for the rest of the season. Very disappointing from him. Garrett Nussmeier also just was not great performance wise with LSU. But all three of those showed out in the NFL Combine. And that's interesting for me because it makes you think, can they perform in the NFL, right? Every one of these guys had a good year in college, like a really good year in college. And every one of those guys is leaving on a not so great note. So my question is, can teams pick up any of these guys, right? Drew Aller, I think he'd be a great fit in Pittsburgh with the if they bring back Aaron Rodgers or bring in a guy like Geno Smith. I think you get Drew Aller in there and you got him learning under a veteran for a year or two. I think we're looking at a very good quarterback, and I think he's the best out of all three of them.
Yeah.
What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I agree. A lot of good talent that again underachieved this year. Another guy, Nico Imalavia, starting quarterback for the UCL Bruins. He
Mm-hmm.
had a terrible season this year as a sophomore.
Transferred from Tennessee.
Got all that money. Like he made a big stink in the offseason after his freshman year that he wasn't getting paid enough by Tennessee. Ended up going over to UCLA for not much more money. It was like $700,000 more, I'm pretty sure. And yet he still did not do very good. He was projected to be a top quarterback this year as well, and was not. Now again, next year he's still only a sophomore. He's going to forego the NFL draft this year, return to UCLA as a junior. So there's always a chance that he could, maybe show out next year and maybe be a good quarterback possibly next year. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah. It makes you think though. Like he foregoed coming into the draft. He was projected to be pretty good. Uh, Dante Moore. Dante Moore could have came into this draft, and that would have changed everything, right?
Oh
We
yeah.
probably would have seen the Jets get their franchise quarterback, which very well could have been why he foregoed the draft because he did not want to become a New York Jet.
Yep.
I mean, look at that's a prime. Sam Darnold's a prime example. So I think we could have a very good draft class next year with guys like Dante Moore, Arch Manning, who's a Lenora Sellers.
Lenora Sellers,
I
yeah,
mean,
too.
we got some good guys next year. But don't overlook this year's quarterback class. Andrews et al. Before we move on.
Yes, that is all I have for my big NFL Combine stories.
All right, let's get going. I'm writing down something real quick. Uh,
Let's go ahead and move on now to our NFL mock draft. So we only have our first rounds mocked up at this current moment. We still are a little over a month away. It's going to be a little bit before we get to the actual NFL draft date. I believe, where is it this year?
Pittsburgh, I think.
Yeah, that
Pittsburgh.
sounds right. I think it's in Pittsburgh. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. So anyways, we have got our NFL mock drafts up and ready, at least for the first round, to, tell you guys about a little bit here today. So, Miles, how do you want to do this? You just want to go like pick by pick and, like rattle off who we have, like any major trade. You want to do it like that?
Sure. I'll start us off here. All
Okay,
right.
okay.
All right. For the first pick in the 2026 NFL Miles and Andrew mock draft, I have the Raiders getting Indiana's quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Andrew.
Yeah, that's the same one I have. It's a no-brainer pick for the Raiders at this point.
Yeah. That I mean, yeah. I think.
Yeah, at this point, it's been the consensus number one overall pick since, shoot, like January.
Yeah, we haven't. I don't think we've seen a consensus like this since Trevor Lawrence, maybe. I mean,
Yeah, probably Trevor Lawrence, I would say.
yeah. All right. Number two, the New York Jets. I have them taking Ohio State linebacker Avril Reese.
Okay, so here's where I differ. I have the Jets taking edge Ruben Bain out of the University of Miami, Florida.
All right, Ruben Bain. Interesting. That's a very good edge. Number three, I have the Arizona Cardinals taking Francis Mayoga, offensive lineman from Miami.
Yeah, I have the same one there too.
All right, glad to hear we're on the same page. For the fourth overall pick, I have the Tennessee Titans going with Ruben Bain, edge from Miami. I think with Robert Saleh being the head coach, I think he goes defense here and he gets the staple of his defense because I don't think it's Jeffrey Simmons. I'm like, you can't, to me, you can't build an offense around a defensive tackle. I think you need an electric edge like Ruben Bain. Andrew?
Yeah, so I don't have Ruben Bain going number four. I had him going number two. So instead, I have the Titans going with wide receiver Carnell Tate out of Ohio State to give Cam Ward that true number one option at the wide receiver position.
I like that. I think that's a very, very, very good pick. Number five, interesting. New York Giants with my guy Jackson Dart, and then you got my guy Cam Scatterbo, and then you got the extremely talented Malik Neighbors. I think they add on to that. They get Carnell Tate
Okay.
and make that a very young and elite offense.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Obviously, Carnell Tate won number four for me. So I have the Giants going with linebacker Arvell Reese out of Ohio State. At this point, he would probably be the best player available on the board because both Ruben Bain and Francis Wigona were off the board. Carnell Tate's off the board. It's probably just like the best defensive player available for the New York Giants. I don't really see them needing another wide receiver or running back or a tight end. So I feel like Arvell Reese is the best player available for them. So
Yeah, I think he falls. That's interesting. You had him falling a little bit. Um, I sorry, I'm watching. We have the Sandlot on in the background,
yeah,
and I am so distracted. It's Squints at the lifeguard scene with Squints,
yeah,
and
yeah. Okay.
it's It's the funniest thing ever. Sorry. Um, all right. We were at Cleveland now with the sixth overall pick. I had them taking Spencer Fayano, offensive lineman.
Out of Utah, yeah,
Yeah.
same thing with me.
All right. Sounds good. They definitely need help. Whoever their quarterback is, they need to him protected. Um, Number seven, Washington. David Bailey, edge from Texas Tech. He very well could have gone to the Jets at number two. He's extremely talented, and I am very excited to see that guy in the NFL.
Yeah, I have him falling down there number two, to number seven with the Commanders. He again could go number two to the Jets if they choose not to go with Ruben Bain. It's either Ruben Bain or David Bailey at number two in my opinion,
Or Avril Reese.
or Arvell Reese definitely too as
Or
well.
Arvil.
Yeah, I mean the
Sorry.
Jets have the Giants, or excuse me, Jets really have the pick of the litter for their number two overall pick. So Ruben Bain, Carn, excuse me, sorry, Arvell Reese and David Bailey all could be out there. Sonny Styles, I actually think could be in that conversation as well. So you know, the Jets again, pick of the litter at number two when it comes to that. Moving on to number eight on the New Orleans Saints, I have them taking running back Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. Miles, who do you have for the Saints?
All right, for the Saints, I also had Jeremiah Love. I mean, when you have to replace Alvin Kamara, it's not going to be easy. And I think Jeremiah Love, I mean, his combine performance was absolutely incredible. And I think I think you would have to go with him. I mean, getting off topic for a little bit, I didn't get to read this. I had tight end duos, Eli Stowers and Kenyon Sadiq, so we'll talk about them later. And running back duos, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, were the two best in their positions, respectively. And we see the first one of those four go off the board at number eight with Jeremiah Love. I think New Orleans would be stupid not to give Tyler Shuck a new face in the backfield and someone who's as elite as Jeremiah Love and who can catch the ball like Jeremiah Love. I think you have to go with Jeremiah Love there.
Absolutely. At number nine, I have the first trade and only trade of my mock draft. I have the Dallas Cowboys trading up to number nine with the Kansas City Chiefs. Dallas would end up would be trading the number 12 pick in the 2026 draft and pick number 151, which is in the third round to KC for the number 9 pick. And Dallas would draft Sonny Styles, linebacker out of Ohio State.
Interesting trade. I as well only had one trade. It wasn't here. It's a little bit later in the draft. Uh, but I had Kansas City. This one was hard because I was thinking, do they take a wide receiver here? I still have a lot of receivers on the board at this point, and I think very well they could take a wide receiver here. But instead, I had them replacing Trent McDuffie, which is not an easy task to do, and they may never, but I had them taking Mansour Delane, cornerback from LSU. Sorry if I butchered your name. As you can tell from listening to this show, I'm very bad with reading names. But yeah, I had them taking him. He's by far the best cornerback in this draft class, which is filled with really good defensive backs. That's what I got for number nine.
All right, at number 10, Cincinnati Bengals, I have them taking safety Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. The Bengals desperately need help in that defense, especially in that secondary. Yes, the Cincinnati Bengals do need some edge help after losing Trey Hendrickson, but I have them going with Caleb Downs, possibly the best safety in the entire draft.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that because I had that too. Caleb Downs, similar to Malachi Starks in this one. Downs, it's no surprise Ohio State just pumping out really, really good defensive players. And Caleb Downs could really turn around Cincinnati's defense, but it's going to be hard because they're most likely losing Trey Hendrickson in free agency. And Caleb Downs is going to have to carry that Bengals defense for a long time. All
Yeah.
right, at 11, Miami. I had Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State, going to the Miami Dolphins. Andrew?
All right, so with Miami, I have them going with another defensive back. I have them going with Mansour Delane out of LSU, the guy that KC has, or Miles has KC picking at number 9.
Yeah, I think if I didn't have Delane going to Kansas City, I'd probably have him going to Miami. But I did see that the Dolphins have listed a price because they have interest in other teams have interest in trading for Jalen Waddle, and the price for Waddle is a first round pick,
Ooh,
which is super high for a wide receiver.
yeah.
And I probably wouldn't give up a first round pick for Jalen Waddle. I'd give it up for AJ Brown though. I'll tell you that. Um, so I had them taking Jordan Tyson because I do think they will have a new starting quarterback next year, and I think it will be Malik Willis. And I think you just give that quarterback more offensive weapons because you cut Tyreek Hill, and you need someone taking a boatload of those receptions.
Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on over to number 12. I have Kansas City now getting this pick since they had that trade with Dallas. I have Kansas City taking Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State.
All right, that's a good pick. That I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, I could see that happening completely. But at number 12, I had Dallas taking Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State. Andrew had him getting taken 3 picks earlier. I think they could sit back and probably get him. I don't know, maybe not. Sonny Styles and his brother Lorenzo both performed incredibly well for the combine. So we'll see what happens there.
All right. Moving on over to number 13. I have the LA Rams keeping their number 13 overall pick, and I have them drafting Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia. They're in a weird position right now with this pick. It's a pick they got from the Falcons. I think in this point they're just taking, probably like more of a depth player or someone to help out ensure that offensive line, being that they you know, trade for L'Jarius Sneed to help shore up that secondary. So I have them going with an offensive lineman to help protect Matthew Stafford, who is truly an old quarterback. Miles, who do you have at number 13?
Sorry again, with with the Sandlot, he was talking about shaving his dog's butt.
All
Um,
right.
but for number 13, I had the Rams trading away. Like you said, they were taking a depth offensive lineman, and you can't take a depth piece at the 13th overall pick. So I had them trading to the Chicago Bears for the 25th overall pick, the 57th overall pick, which is in the second round, and a 2027 fifth round pick. Now the Rams always have been trading their picks, right? Last year they traded uh, they traded the Falcons, traded to the Falcons, and the Falcons took James Pierce Jr., who would have been very good with Jared Verse. I'll say that.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and then they've traded almost every year. They've traded their first round pick. I think they do it again. Move down. I don't see a great fit for them anywhere because they just have such a well rounded team. So Chicago trades up to the 13th overall pick. I think they take Kendrick Folk out of Auburn, I believe, edge. Because they wanted an edge. They didn't get Max Crosby as he was traded to the Ravens. We'll talk about that in our next episode. And they weren't able to get Khalil Mack back. He resigned with the Chargers, and there's really no one else. I mean, I don't see them getting Trey Hendrickson. So I think they take Kendrick Folk at 13.
All right. Moving on over to pick 14, I have the Las Vegas Raiders taking wide receiver Mekhi Lemon out of USC to help pair him with their new number one overall quarterback, Fernando Mendoza.
You see, Andrew, I was thinking the same thing. For those of you who don't know, the 14th overall pick, you're like, how did Las Vegas get another pick? It's from the Max Crosby trade. Ravens traded 2 first round picks, and that was included. Um, I was thinking Mekhi Lemon gets taken too, because, I mean, he's probably the best receiver on the board. But due to his, I don't want to say inconsistency with what we were seeing from him at the combine,
Yeah.
and just overall just not showing himself in the best light. I have them going the safe route and taking Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana way earlier
Wow.
than anyone else, any other ESPN guy. No one had Omar Cooper going 14 to Las Vegas. Give Fernando Mendoza someone he is comfortable with in Omar Cooper. Fernando Mendoza has said that Omar Cooper is prime Debo Samuel.
Hmm.
And if you could get that on your team, man, that could be really good. And they
Yeah.
don't really have any receivers on that team. So you get Omar Cooper in there at number one receiver. You get Brock Bowers in there being your amazing tight end. You got Ashton Genty in the backfield, and you got Fernando Mendoza in the helm. I mean, sounds like a Madden team right there. I
Yeah, there
think
you go.
that's great.
Yeah, there you go. All right, moving on over to number 15 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have them taking edge Keldrick Folk out of Auburn.
That is who I had taken. Chicago taking the 13th overall. So for the 15th overall, Tampa Bay, I have them taking a key. Oh my gosh, why does it? Why does everyone hate me so much that they're making me read these names? Akeem
Messi.
Masiter, edge, going to Tampa Bay. He could be very good. They need someone on that defense, and I think Akeem is a great piece because Hassan Reddick is not the answer.
Yeah, definitely. All right, number 16, the New York Jets with their second pick of the first round. I have them taking corner Jermod McCoy out of Tennessee. Probably the second best corner, maybe even possibly the best corner compared to Mansour Delane out of LSU. So I have the Jets taking another defensive player here in the first round.
Yeah, I wanted a super exciting pick for this Jets pick. At 16, I wanted someone like Ty Simpson going to the Jets, but I just couldn't. I ended up going Jermod McCoy as well. He's a great corner. Replace Sauce Gardner, who they traded to the Colts. I don't know. It's not really the most crazy pick. It's not their franchise quarterback, but I think that there is a good chance that they do get do draft a quarterback this year. I think someone like a Carson Beck,
Maybe.
Haynes King,
Maybe.
Jalen Green, someone athletic, strong arm. I think any of those guys could go there. But yeah, for this pick, 16th overall, I had Jermod McCoy.
Yeah, I had similar thought. Replace Sauce Gardner after they traded him over to the Indianapolis Colts. It makes a lot of sense over there. All right, moving on over to the I almost said Detroit Tigers. The Detroit Lions. I have them taking interior offensive lineman. Oh boy, how do I say this name? I have Olivia Olivega Ione out of Penn State. I sincerely apologize to him for butchering his name. Miles, I assume that's who you have as well at number
I am
17
so happy you read that before me because I had the same pick, the interior offensive lineman uh,
out of Penn State.
out of Penn
We'll,
State.
we'll, we'll just say that for right now.
That's, yeah,
Oh
what
man.
Andrew said. 18, Minnesota Vikings. I had Dylan Diamond, the Oregon safety. He performed very well in the combine. I was very impressed with what he did. I mean, he was by far one of the best safeties there. If not the best,
Yeah,
I guess, besides
Caleb Downs.
besides Caleb Downs. So I think Minnesota replaces Harrison Harrison
Harrison
Smith.
Harrison Smith. Yes, there
That's
you
a name I can say. Harrison Smith.
go.
They get their replacement there, a guy who plays very similar to Harrison Smith and Dylan Thyman.
All right. So moving on over. Oh, excuse me. I also have Minnesota taking defensive lineman Peter Woods out of Clemson instead of uh, Miles's pick as the safety there. All right, number 19, Carolina Panthers. I have them taking edge Akeem Masidor out of Miami, Florida. I think Miles, you had him going a little bit before that. I think you had him going to Tampa Bay. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Yes.
correct. But I did have an edge going 19th to Carolina. I had TJ Parker out of Clemson.
Okay.
He's going to Carolina.
All right. On over to Dallas with their number 20 overall pick. I have them taking corner Avion Terrell out of Clemson to help shore up that secondary, which has not been very good over the last couple seasons.
Yeah, at 20 for Dallas, I think. I know Dallas really wanted Max Crosby, and they were willing to give up a first and second for him, but he ended up getting traded for two firsts. So if Dallas would have done that, that would have been hilarious. Do you know why? Because that would have meant they would have traded the two first round picks they got for Micah Parsons for a guy older. And I'm not saying Max Crosby's bad because he's one of the best in the league, but he's no Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
And they would
definitely.
have ended up giving up the same. I would have loved it. I would have laughed at Dallas and Jerry Jones. But I do have them having to fill in that edge spot, so I have them taking Monroe, Freeling, sorry, edge.
All right. On over to 21 Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, Miles, you're going to love this one. All right. I have quarterback Ty Simpson out of Alabama going to the
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Is he the franchise guy in Pittsburgh? I have no idea. I mean, there's still a chance that they re-sign Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, much like their draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers, their draft with Ty Simpson, I mean, it resembles what they are doing in their overall as a franchise with their finding their new quarterback. It's directionless right now. So yeah, I see them absolutely taking Ty Simpson at number 21.
Well, Andrew, I had that written down. I erased it. You know why? Because I looked at my last year's mock draft, and there was a guy very similar that was a wild card, right? We had no idea if he would go really high in the draft or way low in the draft. And you know who that was? Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
Last year, I had at number 21 the Pittsburgh Steelers taking Shedeur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at number 21 this year, I couldn't do it again, right? I couldn't bank on them, the Steelers, that's what I meant by them, taking a quarterback. I think they could. And I think a guy like Drew Aller, or they could just ride it out and see if Will Howard's your guy. And I think he could be. I mean, he's a national champion. But I do think you just work with what you got and you take Makai Lemon, wide receiver out of USC at 21.
All right. Maybe getting Aaron Rodgers and number one wide receiver there. All right. Number 20.
Number two, DK would be number one.
You said, oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't think Makai Lemon. I think he'll be a 2 or 3, maybe 3 because he's a slot. We'll see.
All right. All right. We'll see. We'll see, though. All right. Number 22. I have the Chargers taking offensive tackle Caleb Lemieux out of Utah. I could see Caleb Lemieux going way higher than this, too, overall. I could see him going like up inside the top 10, maybe possibly as well. So, yeah, I have him going number 22 to the Chargers.
Yeah, and at number 22, I have Peter Woods, Clemson defensive lineman. Very similar to like Derek Harmon last year. Derek Harmon was taken around the same spot, so I think Peter Woods at 22 is a good way to go for the Chargers.
All right. On over to 23, Philadelphia. I have them taking offensive tackle Caden Proctor out of Alabama.
Interesting you didn't go the way I went. I went a lot of the way that a lot of guys who make mock drafts, guys or girls, who make mock drafts went, and I had at 23 the Philadelphia Eagles taking Kenyon Sadiq, Oregon tight end. He was so fast in the combine. He really played good football, and I think Kenyon Sadiq could be replacing Dallas Goedert.
Interesting.
Down in or up in Philly.
Yeah. All right. Moving over to 24, I have the Cleveland Browns selecting wide receiver Kevin Concepcion out of Texas A&M, giving them a new wide receiver one over in Cleveland.
Yeah, I have Cleveland taking a wide receiver too, but I have them taking Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington. Uh, I don't know this guy. He has a lot of drop problems, so I'm not 100% sold on him, but I do believe he will go in the first round. I think 24 to Cleveland is the right way to go.
All right. On over to pick 25. I have the Bears keeping their pick there at number 25, and I have them drafting C.J. Allen, linebacker out of Georgia. I mean, the Bears struggled with linebacker issues, very limited health in their linebacker position last year. So I see them addressing a need. Not only that, they did release linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, who was a captain for the defense this year on the Bears roster. He's a former Pro Bowler. The Bears need someone to fill that hole, and I think C.J. Allen out of Georgia will be the guy to fix that.
Yeah, and I think the worst case for us Packers fan is the Bears somehow get Sonny Styles. And because I
Yeah.
had Sonny Styles going right before 13 at 12 to Dallas, and I had Chicago trading up to 13. That could be very bad if they trade up and get Sonny Styles because
Yeah.
they have the picks and the aggression to do that. So that's very scary for me. but I have them at pick 25. I have the Rams there because they traded picks, and I have them getting Ty Simpson,
Oh,
Alabama's
there you go.
quarterback,
All
going to
right,
the
there it
Rams,
is.
sitting a year under Matthew Stafford, who's the reigning MVP, and learning from one of the greats. So I think Ty Simpson could be the future. I mean, there's no way you could be a quarterback with the Rams right now, having Puka, having what's his name, Kyron Williams,
Yeah,
and not be good. Like I mean, so I think Ty Simpson going there, you have to be good, right?
yeah, definitely. All right, moving on over to number 26, Buffalo Bills. I have them taking wide receiver Omar Cooper out of Indiana. Miles, you had him up there at number 15, right to 14 to the Raiders, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, Buffalo, who you got?
Buffalo Bills. I also have them taking a receiver, even though they just got DJ Moore in a trade. They traded a second round pick and they got DJ Moore in a fifth round pick, but they do need more help. So I think Buffalo takes Casey Concepcion, wide receiver. Is he from A&M?
Yeah, he's from A&M.
A&M. He had a very, very good combine, and Casey Concepcion uh, going to the Bills. That could be very good, along with DJ Moore.
All right, number 27, another wide receiver going to the 49ers. I have Denzel Boston going over to San Francisco out of Washington.
All right, San Francisco gets a receiver. I wanted to do that, but I mean, I had no receivers left at that point.
Yeah,
I already had Casey Concepcion, Omar Cooper, Makai Lemon, and then Carnell Tate, a few other guys, Jordan Tyson. But I took at 27, Kate. Whoa, what did I write? Caden Proctor,
okay.
offensive lineman, going to the Niners. Hopefully, protecting Brock Purdy.
Yeah, a little bit more. They had a lot of injuries on that O line, definitely last year, so I can see that one. All right, over to pick 28, Houston Texans. I have them taking offensive tackle Blake Miller out of Clemson. They trade away another O lineman this year. The Texans did after trading away uh, Laramie Tunsil last year to the Commanders. So, yeah, Houston really needs offensive linemen. They're gonna get that in Blake Miller. Might be a little bit of a reach, but they definitely need a offensive lineman.
Yeah, I had Caleb Lamu falling all the way to 28 to Houston.
Wow,
Um, Huge fall for him.
that's a great pick.
But I think Caleb Lamu going to Houston, protect C.J. Stroud. Uh, clear the way, plow the way for David Montgomery, who's now the face of that running back room. Um, so yeah, that's what I think at 28. For 29, I have Kansas City taking Cassius Howell, edge, getting a defensive guy in there. Um, because I think that's just the right way to go.
Yeah, they struggled on defense last year. Let's remember
Yeah.
that. It was a reason why they didn't make the playoffs, so they definitely need some help there. I have them taking tight end, Kansas City. I have them taking tight end Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. I have Sadiq falling all the way down to 29. That's
Wow.
like I'm pretty sure 9 spots like where he's not projected to go. Like
I
I
mean,
could have
yeah.
said that like Kansas City was going to draft him at 12, but I saw them taking a wide receiver. Uh, like at that point. But I mean, this would be a dream scenario for Kansas City. Like this is completely unrealistic, I believe, but this is just the way like how my mock draft looks. So I have Kansas City drafting Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon.
Yeah, that would be a great replacement for Travis Kelsey. And then having him along Travis Kelsey for like at least a year would be great. At 30, I had Denver taking C.J. Allen, linebacker out of Georgia. I mean, the linebackers out of Georgia have a very good track record. So I think taking a guy like that, Denver could use one because they're not sure. Alex Singleton could be out in free agency. Not really sure what's going to go there. I really wanted to take Vanderbilt's tight end Eli Stowers uh, and have Denver reach on that, but I think you don't pass up C.J. Allen at pick 30.
Yeah, definitely. I have Denver drafting D lineman Caleb Banks out of Florida. Help shore up that defense. That was really really good last year, but I don't think that they're gonna have any offensive players that are really like worth taking here at number 30. So I have them going defense here.
All right. At 31, New England Patriots. I have them taking Avion Terrell. I have him falling a little bit. Um, and he's a cornerback, and I think the Patriots really could use a corner.
Yeah, that's another area of need that the Patriots really need to address going forward. So yeah, that's a good pick. I have the Patriots taking the edge, Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M. We saw them get absolutely kind of tore up in the Super Bowl. Need another pass rusher. That's what Cassius Howell is going to be out of Texas A&M for the New England Patriots.
Yeah. And finally, at 32, I have Seattle reaching on Notre Dame quarterback and teammate of Jeremiah, or Notre Dame quarterback, Notre Dame running back and teammate of Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, who had an incredible NFL draft combine. And I think Seattle gets their Kenneth Walker replacement, and he's the number one running back until Zach Charbonnet comes back, and then those two platoon, and I think it could be very good.
Yeah, definitely. Instead of that, I have Seattle drafting safety Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. I have him falling pretty far actually. So
Yeah, that
this,
is.
this is like a dream pick again for Seattle, but just the way that my mock draft went, like I could see it happening. But yeah, definitely a dream scenario if you're the Seattle Seahawks to get Dylan Thieneman, a really really good safety defensive back prospect out of Oregon. Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go. That is our NFL mock draft for round one. Took a little bit longer than probably me and Miles both thought, but that's our mock draft. So, anyways, let us know down in the comments what you thought of this NFL mock draft. We got more on the way when it comes to mock drafts. We also have some more content coming out. MLB predictions. The MLB season is right around the corner, so we got to talk about that soon. We got an NFL free agency to talk about soon. So stay tuned for more. But until then, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Miles.
Oh boy, you're tired.
Yeah.
All right. All right. We'll see you in the next episode, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.